Hey y'all, it's T. So in this video I want to talk about information overload. So to me, information overload has always sounded like a technology term. But it's not just some fancy technology term, it's very real and it can be very detrimental. In humans, it mainly affects the mind, but at an extreme, it will definitely affect the body. Not always immediately, and it's usually more gradual. I always like to say that things happen in the spiritual realm before they happen in the physical realm, and they do. So when you're affected by information overload, if you don't catch it early enough and try and reverse the effects, like I said, not immediately but gradually, it will affect the physical body, and it'll show up as just stress or fatigue or not being able to focus. Those are just a few things that I've noticed in myself, just being affected from information overload, especially when it comes to like social media and just being on the internet for way too long, way too often. So you kind of think of the mind as a computer. You have the CPU or the hard drive, which are the main places that information is sent to. So a daily use of your computer, you filter a large amount of information through it every day or every time that you use your computer, especially if you use your computer or your phone a lot. You filter a lot of information through it. So with a computer, with technology, you have different size hard drives that hold a finite or certain amount of data. If you reach the limit, you have to either put more space on it or buy another one or a bigger hard drive, or you have to delete some data or some information to make space. The only difference between a computer and your mind is you only have one mind. You can expand your mind, or you can de-stress the mind as a way to make space. And to me, de-stressing the mind is surrendering my problems to God. So if I, give my problems to God, I'm not thinking about it anymore. So there's more space in my mind to think about something else, something that's more important. You can't buy another mind, but you can renew your mind. And renewing your mind requires periods of isolation and deprogramming your mind from previous information that has been filtered through it at a large capacity or regular basis. But that's kind of a bigger topic, and in accordance with the topic of this video, I won't bombard you with too much information. But anyway, when it comes to your mind and your spirit, information overload comes from consuming too much media, like I said, social media, too much music, or too much low vibrational music. I won't really say too much music because I love to listen to music, every day. If I don't listen to music every day, it's kind of means that I had a bad day. But I will say listening to too much low vibrational music or music that is not really uplifting in a general sense, or too much mindless television, or even spending too much time around other people and not having any quiet time with yourself and with God. So there are some ways that you can catch yourself and catch the information overload before it becomes too detrimental. And a few ways that I've kind of done that myself is through meditation. Sometimes I just meditate with instrumental music, or I might do a guided meditation on Spotify or YouTube, or sometimes I just sit in quietness, silence, and I just meditate. You can also do a technology detox. depending on what you think you need and how much and how often you have been around technology. Sometimes you might need to just completely stay away from technology, all technology, for, I guess, a week sounds kind of like a good time frame, but it's really up to you and what you think is best for you. Or you can kind of just lower your usage of technology, and it's kind of what I've been doing. Like, I still post things on social media, but I won't really scroll through social media. You can also start listening to a healthier or a more higher vibrational genre of music. And those are a few ways to kind of give your mind a break, especially in today's world. Everything is on the phone, the computer, the internet, and we probably all noticed for the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years that we are becoming more and more attached to, especially our phones, but just technology in general. We're becoming more attached to it and more dependent on it. So it's really important to take periods of time to just kind of like come back to self, come back to spirit, and especially spending time outside with nature is been one of my favorite ways to kind of stay away from information overload these days. All these other things, technology, social media, all these things have their place, but once you start taking time to slow down the amount of information that your mind is consuming, you will feel lighter in a mental sense and an emotional sense, because you're going to be more in tune with your own energy. You're going to be more in tune with your own inner voice, with the voice of spirit. So the better you get to know yourself, the more resistant you can be to external energies and influences. So make time to lighten the load on your mind as much as possible, and you will see that naturally, and it will get stronger, it will get better, it will get more deeply rooted the more that you do it, and the longer that you are able to do it. You will just notice that your mood will be lighter. So avoid information overload, y'all. Be well.